We're trying to make a big transition, a big switch, and a big change into our student ministry, even in just little ways. I was talking to Jason Cunningham and I were talking just this week, and we were talking about how important it is that we start asking you, just when we're having personal conversations, that we start asking you different questions. Rather, I think the question that we've been asking a lot, maybe that you've been hearing a lot if you're some of those people that we talk to and hear from, we've been asking the question a lot, hey, what did you think about the Wednesday night service? How did you think it went? How did it sound? Was it something that you enjoyed? Was it something that you would bring a friend to? Is there anything that we need to change? Is there anything that we need to do? So we want to hear back from students to see, okay, you tell us, how are things going? He and I were talking this week and a little bit last week just about how we need to start changing that question. And the reason I think we need to change that question is, I think if we continue to ask you that question, that we're gonna cause you to grow up to be terrible Baptists. And you're just going to be an old person one day to where you're constantly judging and criticizing and analyzing in your mind, do I like this service? Do I enjoy this performance? Is this something that is good for me? Rather than the question, what am I learning? How am I growing? What is God doing in my life? Because I've told you before, it is not about a performance. It is not about how the band does and their ability and how they've performed and how they've entertained. It doesn't matter if they've hit every note. It doesn't matter if the lights do just right. It doesn't matter if the hazers work. It does not matter. Ultimately, it matters, are we singing to Jesus and praising and honoring and glorifying Jesus Christ? That's what matters. It does not matter if you think that the sermon was good. It does not matter if you think that if it was funny. We don't judge pastors on the way in which they preach. We don't even judge pastors. What we do, we ask ourselves the question, was it biblical? What did God challenge me with? What is God doing in my life from that? So the questions that you're going to start hearing us ask more and more is, rather than, how did you think the service went? Because we don't want you thinking that during this time. We want you thinking, as we ask the questions, what is God doing in your life? What did God teach you most? How is it that God is changing your life? What did God challenge you with? Sin that you need to get rid of? What is something that we challenged you with that you need to start doing in your life that you are not doing yet to live for Jesus Christ? It's a total ministry transition. I know that question is already being asked with a lot of you, but that's the direction that we're going. That's a direction that we want you to be asking each other. We don't want to be a church that is constantly talking about, wow, the worship was awesome, the sermon was awesome, the service was awesome. It doesn't matter if it is good or bad in our eyes. It matters about what God has done. It matters about how God has spoken. It matters how we are worshiping Jesus and if He is receiving our glory, if our hearts are involved in that. It's a huge paradigm shift that we are going for.